Stay tuned to the end of the video. We're going to be giving away 1 year of Key Collector.
That's right. We're in for a fun one. Comic fam, oh my goodness, it's Bags and Boards, episode number what?
25.
25 episodes, and it's been a month. And I know that it's been a little too long, and it's okay.
We're here.
Because we're here now. Because we're in Chicago.
That's right.
Hometown of yours.
My hometown, you got the Windy City, which, by the way, the Windy City, it's not because it's windy. It's because the politicians back in the day were just windbags blowing a lot of hot air. That's why they call Chicago the Windy City. Did you know that?
I didn't know that, but
Hey,
Is that
still
true?
frickin'
That's
windy.
true.
I've never heard. I thought it was windy because of the
There's
wind.
a lot. Well, there's a lot of wind. That's
Well-
true. There is a lot of wind.
Tell me, how dope is my new coat? Because I knew that once we came down here to Chicago, it was going to be unbearable. It's like
nice coat.
25 degrees out here.
You know what? It's a nice coat, but people want to talk about comics, Tom.
You know what? We are going to talk about comics. We're going to talk about a handful of things today. Otis, the comic book stock investment company. Yeah, they have some comic books that they're going to be bringing to the market soon that I think it'll be fun to chat about and get your opinion on. And Jeff's too, because you were here the first time we chatted about Otis when they came on the market originally. We got Punchline stuff to discuss, and Rob Liefeld making himself look like, well, we'll let the community decide what he's making himself look like. How about that?
Right.
So hit the subscribe button and let's just jump into the very first topic, because I think what has happened this last week and a half, about 2 weeks now, hasn't happened in years, which is just crazy comic book speculation, purchasing, LCS activity, and social media happening in the comic book community.
That's right. This Punchline character pretty much came out of nowhere. And when she did, it was an explosion in the collecting market, the readers market, the speculator market. There's been a lot of butting heads about this appearance, and also a lot of confusion.
Yeah, you were explaining it to me because I'm mostly on the older side. So with this modern book, you were just telling me like who Punchline is, what the big kerfuffle is of like why fans are so upset. So one more time, like break it down, because I think people really need to know the real understanding of where this is all coming from.
Yeah, let's take it back to prior to the release of Batman 89, where this all really started to take off.
Right. Well, it all came from James Tynion, and I think that's what we agreed how to say his last name, right?
Pretty
guys?
sure that's what.
All right. So James, he sent out something in a newsletter where he was saying, "Who is this person on number 92, Batman 92?" And it's a woman with a knife, and she's mostly obscured in shadows. But he reveals this is Punchline, right? This is Punchline
on the Yasmin Pure Tree cover of 92. You see her in the bottom left, but it's a character no one knew, and he's trying to hype it a little bit.
Right. So, but what he said is, well, we could be seeing her in 89. We could be seeing her in Hell Arisen number 3, or maybe we could even see her in Joker's 80th anniversary. And people were like, well, which one is it? What? And it turns out it was actually, he sort of laid out what her appearances were going to be. It was going to be a cameo appearance in 89, and then there was going to be her full appearance in Hell Arisen number 3, and then Joker's 80th anniversary, which hasn't come out yet, is going to be her origin. First cover appearance in 92. So everybody, finally sort of agree, okay, it's going to be Batman 89, that entire, first cameo. But then he did another newsletter where he said, well, you're going to see her cameo in 89, then you're going to see her full body appearance.
Her full body appearance. I don't think I've ever actually heard a content creator in the comic book collectors community call a full appearance a full body appearance. How about a caveat there?
But you didn't even realize that he might have been saying, well, is he saying it's a full appearance, or is he saying it's a full body appearance? Because then people started to get confused. Mm-hmm. Hey, is Hell Arisen, is it going to be another cameo? Because we're sort of putting all of our, all of our, what's the term?
Eggs in one basket.
Eggs in one basket.
Right.
But then, and then people were thinking, well, maybe it's 92 that it's going to be a full appearance.
But why this character? Like, new comic book characters get introduced to the market regularly. Happens all the time. And most of the time, they don't spike like crazy, especially to the way that the comics have spiked over the last 2 weeks. Very aggressive sales. But why this character? Well, because she was being said to be a new henchman. She's got ties to Joker. Her character design is pretty cool. And the word Harley Quinn, like, competition has now been thrown in.
But he really said it's pretty much Joker's new girlfriend.
Right.
And you know, we know that Harley Quinn is a major character, and you don't really see a whole lot of advanced sort of promotion of new characters. Most of the time we're surprised by it. So the fact that this was sort of talked about and books had already been ordered, so there was a finite amount of them, you know, made people really go crazy over this appearance.
This Batman 89 came out the gate last Wednesday that we're recording this. It made number 1 on our top 10 list because people bought it in troves. Everyone picked this book up.
Right. Okay. So today is Wednesday. Hell Arisen came out today, and there are about 600 sales on eBay of Hell Arisen number 3, which is her first full appearance, Punchline. And there are maybe 300 of these books listed. So a major complaint that we've been seeing pop up online and we're hearing about is that people are just buying this comic book so that they could flip it. They want to make money. This is a greed thing. You know, people that are reading it are not able to get it. And it seems like you would think, reading all this, that all of the books are being purchased and flipped. But really, if we're talking about 600 comic books that have been sold and 300 comic books that are listed, that's just under 1,000 books. And this print run, Hell Arisen number 2, there were 35,000 comics that went out to the market. So if that's similar, we're talking about less than 1% of books that are being bought and sold online.
Yeah, I think this is a lot bigger than just people trying to make a quick buck. Now, are there people getting the book for $5 and then posting it online and having it sell for 40? Of course, that does happen. That also happens all the time, regularly. This particular situation, I think, is a bit of FOMO. You know, people want to secure their book, but it's key. It's a key book.
Let me cut you off because the FOMO thing is, this is a hobby. This is collecting. People collect. I mean, so is FOMO something that should be? I mean, that it's, you know, wanting to collect the history of a comic book title that you love, a first appearance, a possible new significant character.
Right.
That is woven into collecting. Okay, so you could be a reader. You could buy stuff digitally, and maybe, look, I could be a comic book reader that buys digitally or buys graphic novels because I want to read everything at once, but I could want to collect the keys because I like to own those little bits of pop culture history that are new introduction of characters. So
yeah, I think a lot of the problem for me when I hear it is that people feel like they have a right to own every book. Like, I have a right when I show up at this shop to have my copy.
It should be there.
Okay?
The shop should have ordered enough for everybody outside of their shelf, which isn't the case.
Yeah, when the shop has got too many books, you know, like, where are you buying those other issues? Okay? Like, a shop can't count for the interest level of every person who's going to come through that door. They will go out of business. They have to keep their orders tight. I'm sorry. Okay? And because you are a reader and you're buying this book, you are no more special than somebody who's a collector wanting to buy that book. You are not owed that right.
But are you saying the collector that comes in once every 2 months, are you saying that they are equal in weight, the reader who buys every week or the collector that comes in once every 2 months? Are those equal customers of importance?
Oh, if you're talking about customers for a shop,
yeah,
then obviously the person coming more frequently is important.
Right. So doesn't the shop want to make sure that person gets their book?
Well, if that person's a regular, they should have a shop.
If that person is that regular, like I said, if he wants to guarantee a book, but if he is unaware of a book and its popularity and someone else comes in that shop and buys them, am I going to turn away, as a shop owner, customers?
This is an interesting conversation here. Like, I like where this is going because this actually was the main reason why I wanted to talk about this book today. Because aside from seeing the biggest wave of like collectors go to their LCS you can't even count how many people. I saw somebody today post that they were at their shop at 6 a.m. waiting at the door to get their copy.
Camping out.
Yeah. So like seeing that, to me, that's a win. The publisher produced something that's awesome. And mind you, if you don't think that's okay, like if you're like, oh, someone waited outside at 6 o'clock for a comic book. Okay, I want to remind everybody that we're talking about something in print form that is available digitally. This is all stuff that shouldn't be happening, right?
But here's the thing, though. I started collecting when I was 9. I never had a pull box. I liked the pageantry, the tradition of walking into a comic book store, looking through everything, pulling it off the shelf, taking a look through it. If somebody collected all that stuff for me, put it in a box so that I could pick it up, it's not that the romanticism is gone.
Those print runs were much larger when you were younger.
That is true,
and there were comics everywhere at that point.
Yeah, you could go to Target.
Far less stores now.
Rather not Target, like Walmart.
Print runs are tighter for a reason.
That's true.
Okay,
that is true. Yeah.
So like to just hope that your shop's going to have enough overstock for everybody.
There are a handful of shops that have gone on record this week, and they're not speaking very highly of what's going on. And that's something that we got to just nip in the butt.
It's weird. In what other industry have you heard like shop owners going on the record and basically insulting their customer base? I mean, or their potential customer base. Because what if Punchline, what if that got a handful of customers excited about comics? And they, you know what? I like this character. I'm interested to see where the story is going. I want to go in. I want to buy this. And I want to, we'll see where it goes from there. These are potential customers. I mean, that's how I see it.
I mean, we look at Batman Adventures 12. Okay, that sparked Harley Quinn. Harley Quinn was everywhere. New fans, new titles, new readership. This could spark that. Yeah, in the beginning, people are trying to jump on that train. That's natural for a lot of people. Okay, so I'm excited for it. And she could fall through and not even be a hit in a month. Okay, who knows? You can get this book maybe, let the hype go away. It's going to level out. And if you're a reader, there will be a second printing. If you're a reader and that first print doesn't matter to you as a reader, because that's the biggest thing I hear, I just want to read it. I'm not a collector like everybody else trying to make money. Then wait for the second print. You know it's hot. Tell your shop you want it, and it'll be there for you.
So there's an aspect of this that I want to just kind of, focus on a little bit, because every shop is different. How LCS's structure and manage their titles, they're different across the board.
It's really true.
I mean, heck, I saw a Bleeding Cool article today where the shop owner was saying that he's making his new customers that come in trying to get the issue 3. If they want to get that, they got to get 1 and 2. They have to buy all 3 of them, because to him, the first 2 issues were a flop because no one bought them. But now everyone wants issue 3, and he thinks that's wrong. He thinks that's hurting the market. So that's one example of one shop owner who thinks that that's a good route to go in his community. I'm not going to judge him. Apparently he's been up and running since 1985. Kudos. Sounds like he has been running since 1985. I wonder if he accepts debit cards. I digress. But shops in general have limits of how many issues you can buy. Can you buy 1? Can you buy 2? Can you buy all of them? Are you taking care of your shelf customers? What do you do after?
Are you raising prices on a hot book before people can get there to even buy it on the day of Wednesday?
They're all doing different things. And when this type of speculation happens and all these customers come in, you see shops' true colors. You see what they do. And what I'm realizing is that there's no consensus. They don't know what to do because they're not ready for this kind of stuff.
Well, I feel like this character has staying power. I think that James Tynion already said that she's going to be featured in the Joker War storyline, which, by the way, he's also introducing another character in number 92. The Underbroker is the name. And, people are already cosplaying as Punchline. So that tells me that the character is resonating already with an audience. And to Jeff's point about what Harley has done for the comic book industry, I think that characters like that, and possibly characters like Punchline, bring more women into comic books, into being interested about comic books, especially this genre, this superhero genre of comic books.
Yeah.
I really like the design, man. I'm excited to see some true cosplay in this already.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's C2E2.
We'll see it C2E2. We'll do we'll count them up.
We'll have to
Punchline.
I want to see how many punchlines we see.
Yeah.
And I'm excited about this character. I understand the concern in the community because when comics spike the way they do in such a short time, it's a cause for concern because, we want to protect our community's wallets. We don't want them to lose money, but that's the cost to play because you know what? The negative remarks that are happening are the people who are not as optimistic on a new character.
Those people are just negative in general, and they're the ones who are always going to complain and come back to the 90s, or variants are crushing the market. There's always going to be the people just knocking it down, and then they'll be saying that for 10, 15 years. They'll say that. And then when it finally happens, it'll be, I told you so.
Yeah.
It's like,
if it happens.
Eventually there'll be a correction in every market at some point to some degree or whatever it is. But like, if you're going to be negative in general about that stuff, then that's just you and your personality with it.
Right.
I'd rather look on the positive and be like, cool character, excited for the future, love the design. Maybe I missed out on the newsstand for the first print. I'll catch it around next time, or another book, or now that I'm aware, knowing this character is available, and now I'm going to keep track of this title. Now that there's something happening here and exciting, what else is coming?
Right. Yeah, Jeff, you make such a good point because there's so much negativity. There's so many people telling other people how to collect. Oh, these people, they have FOMO, or these people, we're going to laugh at them if this book tanks. But the bottom line is people like to collect. People collect what they want. People are making decisions that they're comfortable with. And I just don't understand why there's so much criticism against what people want to do in this hobby, right?
I suggest if LCSs are having an issue because people are coming into their store to buy comic books. I know it sounds weird to say that, but that's what's happening. I would like to look at this in a different way. If I had an LCS, which I don't, shout out Mill Geek Comics. If I had a shop and there was a time where a Wednesday, by the grace of Thor, that waves of people were calling in, requesting a comic book, like to the point where they're irritated that they would take to the computer and spend hours writing something about their complaint, that's the day you should do a 25% off sale.
That's a great idea, right?
Right? Like use it. Use it.
Yeah,
Don't complain.
And maybe books that, might not be moving, or, hey, why don't you
Anything.
come in? We got a 25% off sale, or, it's everything is an opportunity once there's a customer that you are interacting with. And I'm not a shop owner, so that might be easy to say, but there's got to be something better than admonishing people that you might be calling speculators that might be readers who want to pick up this book because they're reading graphic novels or they're reading digital. But there's got to be a better way to invite people instead of turning them away.
All right. Now, I want to move on to the next subject because we are going to be chatting about comic books that you can purchase at stock. Yeah, shares of a comic book. We've chatted about this in the past. Slap that like button if you find any value to the content that we do. We need your support right now.
More than
Please.
ever.
It's freezing outside. It's really cold. Slap that like button for us. It makes us warm. All right, so we're going to jump into this.
I was like, where's it going?
No, it's all coming back. Okay, we're talking about Otis again, all right? Otis is, I think, the first application on the market for comic book collecting following Key. I'm just kidding. I'm just messing with you. No, Key Collector Comics. I'm just kidding. I'm just
Otis
kidding.
was an elevator company.
No. Okay, no. I'm not screwing with you. Otis is a company that has an application. That's where everything is done. And they bring collectibles on the market. Now, they have art, they have shoes, they have skateboards. And I believe this is the first company to bring comic books to the market to be offered as a potential stock options. So,
What do you mean, though? Let's try to break it down. Are you saying that people are able to buy a portion of stock for this comic? Like they're able to invest, let's say the comic book is worth $1,000. Somebody could pay $100 and then they own 10% of it?
10 people could pay 100, yes.
Okay.
So Otis started this out with a Hulk 181, graded at 9.8. Over 100 people invested in this to get stock, shares of this book. And it sold out quick. And we were anticipating this happening again, and we were kind of thinking about what could this look like long term? Because this is a book that you'll never own. However, this is like the start of what could be a portfolio of comic books that you may never own in general, that you could get a piece of and kind of grow an investment portfolio out of. And there are 2 more comic books after months that have actually hit the app. They're not available yet, but I want to chat about it again and hear you guys' thoughts, because we have 2 new comics. We have a Amazing Spider-Man 129, white to off-white pages at 9.8, first appearance of Punisher. And then the other book, same grade, same page color and quality, Giant Size X-Men #1. So, gut response, Jeff, because you were the person who chatted with me about this first.
My gut response is that they are clearly sticking with Bronze Age books.
Okay.
And I personally feel that it would be more interesting to own, I mean, Golden Age, obviously, because it's far more scarce than a 9.8 or a 9.8 Giant Size 1 or 129. There's quite a few out there. But, again, they're more relatable characters. I like the concept of comics becoming an investment. I do. So I'm for this now. Again, it's always weary because how is it regulated? They dictate they're the ones who putting a price of the book and then shares. But again, I like the idea of it, and I'm too sketched out to invest in it. But like for those who really want a piece of it, of a grail, this may be the way to do it.
Well, with the whole bronze, maybe the company doesn't want to invest in a huge book right now. They might be testing the waters. They might be, just trying out. Well, they can spend a couple, 10, 20,000 and see what happens.
Yeah, I'd be curious to see how the community responds to this when the books get rarer. Because when we first started this coverage, I would say it was probably a worse than a 50-50 split, wouldn't you say? I think a lot of people in the community in the comments were like, no way, Jose, I'm not going to invest in a comic book that I can't own. Right. Like physically.
Right. Yeah, they didn't like the idea of owning a piece, and then there was a great portion of people who liked the idea. So it was definitely nice to see the dynamic and that people are open to the idea, because, like I mentioned earlier, I'd love to see it actually be something where comics are at this point where you can actually invest in them,
Sure.
Because not everyone, like you said, not everyone can own a 9.8.
Well, and not everybody's interested in trying to understand the stock market or understand, these different types, these aspects of the stock. But they are interested in comic books, and they might be interested in investing. So why not invest in something that you're truly interested in, like comic books?
And we'll see, because the Punisher 9.8, first, Spidey 129, it's about a $13,000 book. You got Giant Size 9.8, maybe about $11,000 book. That Hulk 181 was $35 and that's sold out. So it'll be interesting to see when these come to market, how quickly they go, because I think they will go.
Yeah, I think they'll go quick. And I think the biggest thing is going to be when they start dabbling in Golden Age. I think we got to see that price marker hit past 35. If we're looking at a book that's like $40,000, $50,000, all the people who are like, oh, I would never, ever invest in a comic book for $12,000 that I would never be able to own. Well, you throw a $50,000 price tag, most collectors will never own a $50,000 comic. That's who this would be for. It's for those who want a piece of an Action 1. So that's why I like to watch what this company is doing, because long term, a decade goes by, there's not just 3 comics. There's dozens. There's possibly hundreds. And if the books keep scaling up, they keep that 9.8 strong, they keep having the community have the opportunity to invest in something that's like, under 100 even exist. It's those types of books that you're going to see that marker move. And when portfolios can have a piece of comic history and like investment opportunities like that, that's when you're going to see the rest of them be able to piggyback. If someone's willing to put money against an Action 1 or an Action like something else that's really expensive, that person will then be more willing to put that money towards a ASM 129 when it comes to market.
You sound like you're very astute with the financials, Tom.
I wish, man. I wish, but I can't afford it either. So I just want to get a Action 1. I want a piece.
Yeah?
Would you get a piece?
I want a piece.
I would get a piece.
Wait,
okay. Are you kidding me?
Let's put a line on that, okay, right now.
Okay, let's do the math. Let's figure it out. Give me an action. Let's figure out what the amount would be, and I'll tell you if I'll do
Here,
it.
Tom, here's a corner.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I don't want a corner. I want a piece.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Here's a sticker.
You want a digital piece of stock.
I want a digital piece.
Action 1.
Okay.
Okay. Let's just say it's a low grade 1.0. Okay.
1.0. Give me a 1.0
1.0.
number.
let's say it's a $300,000 book.
Okay.
Okay. $300 a share.
You're telling me that you wouldn't pay $300 to have a piece of an Action 1 that you could
Does that not sound
sell
appealing?
to another collector who wants a piece of Action 1?
How many?
$300? People, how much did people just pay for Hellraiser 3?
Well, it's not the same thing though. It's not like you're actually getting a piece of it. You know, I mean,
You are
unless
getting
you
a
are.
piece. It's
what
on
are you
your
gonna
phone.
What are you gonna give me a staple?
I have key, I have
this
key
part's
collector on my
yours.
phone.
But
I
look,
you know,
if I had an Action 1, it wouldn't be in my house. I wouldn't see it anyway. It would probably be in a safety deposit box.
that's it right there.
So I wouldn't even see it. I wouldn't keep it on my home.
Good point.
Yeah,
That's a
right?
good point. But
Yeah.
you could still.
Visit it.
Hey, how are you, Action Comics?
You
number
could
one?
visit it.
I visit books at the bank.
dude.
I do.
Hey, sorry, it's been a few days. I
Hey.
haven't seen you in a while.
It's true. It's
Daddy's
true.
here.
I get it.
I gotta imagine the bank employees just hate
Yeah.
when you come in. They're like, "Oh, it's
Hey,
that
it's
freaking,
like-
it's
I
that
do.
guy with the
I
freaking
feel
comics."
guilty. It's like, oh, I got 3 safety deposit
Here's the
boxes.
goal.
He just
Golden-
goes in there. What's he doing? Oh, he's just smelling the
He's
books
just looking
again.
at him.
He keeps looking at him and smelling them and touches the plastic.
Yeah, and he's saying that the Golden Age Guru is here. Right? Look,
Hello, guys.
to me, honestly, it doesn't sound like something. It's like you're owning something that's not even tangible. You're not. But I can look at my phone. And I can see. Oh, look, I own the wheel of the car that Superman's thrown into the wall.
No, you
You're not-
own a piece of Volkswagen stock.
No, of the investment of it.
I get it, but I think with collectibles, especially comic books, look at how much there's these bragging rights. It seems like there's so much. There's the pride of ownership of actually having the book, owning the book. I'm not saying that it's not something that could work or it's not something that
Sure.
you guys would or wouldn't do. I mean, what's the question? Are we asking,
I'll give
is
you
this
the
something
question.
that you would do?
If it was legit, absolutely legit, okay,
Yeah.
this was regulated and everything was on the up and up. Comic Fam, $300 a share, okay, 1,000 shares. It's gonna sell out.
Yeah.
I promise you, it will sell out. 1,000 shares, $300 a pop. Would you buy it?
Yeah,
Would you
Action
buy-
1. Because that's the thing we
Would you
didn't
buy
talk
one
about.
share? How many of you would buy one share just to have a
One
piece
share.
of it?
Yeah.
Let us know in the comment section below. It'll enter you to win a free year of Key Collector comics courtesy of Nick, this guy who started the
We
app.
should have talked about this before we went ahead. All right, a year. Yeah,
All right,
okay.
or you can use the code Tom101 and get yourself a free week subscription to the best comic book collecting
That's
app
right.
on the market. Is there anything like new happening on Key Collector right now? That we gotta-
Absolutely nothing. It's a dead man's zone.
Oh my gosh!
No,
No,
of course,
There's
there's-
a new Jim Lee category.
There's a Jim Lee category for anybody that's trying to figure out what to get signed at the C2E2 or whatever convention might be coming to town by you. But you can search all artists and writers and categories under the variants button, and there's the top 100 modern, top 100 bronze.
You know what I
silver.
really enjoyed that you did this
What do
year?
you like, Tom?
The
Tell me.
C2E2 button.
We have a C2E2 exclusives button. There's like 40, 50 different categories on there right
Still
now.
with the
Something
randomizer.
for everybody. The randomizer's the best.
Randomizer's been killing it.
Yeah.
All right, well, yeah, use that code Tom101. Help support the show, but also help your own comic book hunt and collecting. It pays for itself, guarantee it.
Or just entertainment value.
Yeah, just learning stuff.
Right.
I want to chat now about Rob Liefeld.
Oh, Rob Liefeld.
Were you guys confused what Rob I was going to talk
No,
about?
There's no other Robert talking
Apparently,
Yeah, I
the,
really can't think of
apparently
any.
the
Yeah,
Kurt
right?
Cobain of comics.
Where does that come
I
from?
don't know.
Cobain?
He posted that on his Instagram. There was a YouTuber.
Wait, he said?
Here, I'll show you. But there was a YouTuber who made a video about the history of like Rob Liefeld and comic books and what have you. And the thumbnail was that Rob Liefeld is the Kurt Cobain of comics, and Rob Liefeld had to repost that, and he's like, "I'll take it."
I think it's probably because it's the closest thing to a compliment that Rob's gotten, that
Oh, gosh.
maybe-
Okay,
what we
well, all right. So Rob, I want to like Rob so bad.
Do you?
I do.
I kind of do.
I want to like, because here's the thing, because Rob
do.
has so many things going for him. Like, I know there's a lot of things we can pick apart. We can talk about feet, and we can talk about Captain America in the bust. But that's like, it's silly. And the real thing is, comic book collectors and like people who are really into this community, like, you can complain about a lot of people's art. Like, there's everybody. Mignola's done some pretty questionable stuff, and he's my favorite artist, Like, it's something that we put aside. Like, we joke, but we put it aside. Rob is not helping his brand. And we talk about him mean, I want to say often.
And by brand, you mean him, his persona.
Yeah, him, his persona, his work, his legacy.
Yeah.
Legacies.
That's a good way to
is
put it.
probably a better way to
Legacy-
put it.
Yeah, I'd say legacy is a good way to put it because he is somewhat inflammatory on, pretty much in a lot of different places that he pops up.
He shouldn't be on Twitter. There's for real. There are people in this community and in general in the world who should stick to certain social media platforms. Not everybody should be on Twitter.
Right.
Stick to Instagram. Post pictures. Do some videos on Instagram Live. Some people literally spend too much time on Twitter. Rob spends too much time on Twitter. And you may go, how do
very
you know?
impulsive.
How do you know, Tom, that Rob spends too much time on Twitter? You go to his Twitter and I was trying to find tweets tonight about this segment. How long did it take me to find his tweet? A half hour?
Yeah, because there was a lot of
I was scrolling. This guy literally
a lot
just
of activity
lives
between then and now.
lives on Twitter. Yeah. And it's like, dude, get off Twitter. It's gonna be okay. You're not helping anybody here. So anyways, I want to chat about this because there's new labels that CGC has. Mm-hmm. I'm stoked. I like new labels. I like the new pedigree label that came out. I'm like, hell yeah. Let's start talking about pedigrees. Let's get people into pedigrees. Long overdue. New CGC labels. Add in some spice, throwing Deadpool on the label. And it's witty. It's like Deadpool breaking the fourth wall. He's asking for a 9.9. When was the last time you saw a
9.9?
superhero character trying to have fun with the collector's community requesting a grade on a comic book?
Never.
Never.
I mean,
This is awesome.
But what's the problem with Rob now?
Well, the problem is that as soon as Rob saw that there was a Deadpool label, he immediately posted that he will not be signing any of the labels.
Why?
Okay. So, here's the first thing. Why? Why won't he sign them? Okay, so he won't sign them because Deadpool's on the label. He created Deadpool, and I'm assuming he's not getting a cut for Deadpool being on the label. It's a weird thing, but here's what's even stranger than that explanation, which he never actually gave. He just straight up said he will have nothing to do with this, is that he said he wouldn't sign the label, which doesn't actually make sense because the label happens after the signature. So if anything, he's kind of just showing his, naivete.
Yeah, I don't understand. I mean, the book gets encapsulated after it's signed, and so I could get something signed by Rob, and then it gets sent to CGC. He doesn't have any, unless he's, in the mailroom in disguise, like just erasing his signature.
This is just where it gets more of just Rob being Rob.
Yeah, maybe
it's like another
it's
Rob.
just-
I won't. He's full of I won't. Okay, I won't sign for CGC. A year later, he's praising CGC on YouTube. Okay, and now again, we're not working with CGC. Like, I will not sign this book. I will not sign that book. I won't.
So when someone posts things like this on the internet, like some people are like, he's just complaining, let him complain. Well, here's the thing. You type in like Rob Liefeld on Google and you don't see very many good things. You look up Rob Liefeld CGC and you see his complaints about these types of situations. But what's fun is that Google highlights the most sourced and like active comments that are on the internet and places it right on the homepage. So Rob thinks that he's actually doing his legacy. We'll just continue saying legacy because we can poke and talk about whatever, but let's just say his legacy. He thinks he's doing something good for his legacy. But here are just like the most featured comments right underneath his tweet. I don't understand how he can control this as encapsulation happens after the fact. Gossip.
It's like that's like I wrote that because I just said
the first thing a comic book collector would say is like, what are you saying? So that's just the first thing. How about the second thing? Always something with this guy. This is on Google. This is like Rob said something. This is all you see.
There's always something with this guy.
So, here's the next one. This is the third one. I'm not exaggerating. I'm not skipping any. Some creators need to get a grip and stop with the gripe.
Ooh.
Right?
They just threw an E on the end of that grip.
I know.
Gripe.
So it's just like
gripping.
It's gripe.
So if he doesn't want to participate in signatures, you know what? He's not the only person in the past who's gone on record to say this. One of the first videos I made on this channel was talking about Jim Starlin and how he had his gripes about CGC too, which they were all nonsense as well.
But it sounds like maybe he got a grip because we haven't heard of that in a while.
Oh, he's back signing things for CGC like it's nothing.
Look, Rob has been around since the late 80s, and he pretty much grew up, in a sense, in comic books. And think about it. He's faced a lot of scrutiny and criticism throughout a very long career. I mean, I don't think he's stopped working. I don't think he has he? I mean, he's always been creating, even, there's been some lulls where maybe he did less, but the bottom line is he has probably heard it all, and he's let it deflect off of him, and I don't really think that there's that sense of, should I not say this? Am I saying this right? Should I? It's just Rob, and it's almost kind of fun to have somebody like that in this hobby, because you got to have excitement. Like the Punchline thing is exciting, Some Rob stuff bubbling up, it's exciting. It's you need stuff that's continually new to talk about, and comic books are stories, written art, but it's also a community of creators and fans, and there's no mistaking that both are very interesting in their own ways.
Yeah, I think it's maybe entertaining, but it's entertaining in a negative way for me. I'm watching this guy just say things that are just stupid, just plain stupid.
Yeah.
And you look at him and he says these things, and it seems like just a train wreck. Okay, and it's somebody who doesn't quite have the correct perspective of what the industry is, should be, and how to function in it. Okay, and so that's the problem. Maybe it's like I said, like you were saying, it's what did you call it? I called it entertaining. You called it
monkey business.
Yeah, I'm trying to reuse the adjective you had, but like I said, it's entertaining, but I feel bad, and I don't think it's a good thing. I really don't, and
for his
he
legacy.
needs to figure it out. And his legacy, look, like you said, Rob, I grew up with the comics and the design of the image. Okay, I get it. And for somebody who really kind of took off with image publishing, he's not really caring about his image much.
Oh,
okay. So I would wish that someone can start editing him, whether it's a publicist or what.
Yeah.
But he's way too impulsive.
I was gonna say that this guy
Okay.
needs he needs a PR person. He needs to be sending his tweets to someone else to tweet it for him. And that may sound funny, like who does that? Yeah, a lot of celebrities do that. Like there's a ton. A lot of comedians do that too. They send their stuff to somebody and then they go, all right, is this something we want to put out to the world? And sometimes it just takes that one extra step for them to realize, you know what? Maybe this isn't worth it.
maybe that's what it is. Maybe Rob just hired a really bad tweet checker.
Well,
No, man.
Well, the fact that he goes live and just starts
That's true.
rattling, just starts going off on the industry, he doesn't have any PR help.
I
He's
think
just doing what he does.
He gets a free pass. He's been around forever. He does his thing. He has his stalwart fans that are always going to be his fans. It doesn't matter what happens. It doesn't matter. So, he gets a free pass. If he were different, if he were, not creating waves, I don't know how much interest there would be in seeing more of him. And not saying because his art is bad or has gotten bad, but I think that people like the personality, the history of Rob, the spirit of Rob, and his art, and I think that it's all sort of one package. So, Comic Fam, in the comments, I'm just doing time.
Do it.
Do you think Rob gets a free pass, or do you think Rob should be reined in?
Ooh, I am pumped to go through that comment section to see what the community has to say. I just want him to be. I want him reeled in.
Rein him
in. Just bring him in.
Get that last one, Rob.
Help him out.
Come on, Rob.
Bring him
come
in.
on.
Yeah,
you gotta get out.
Give
Just
him
be
a hug.
quiet, right?
Everybody, let's give Rob a hug.
Yeah, just draw Deadpool on a balloon, all right? I don't know if you've ever been to a convention, but Rob sells balloons. He draws the Deadpool eyes on it, and there you go. You get a balloon with Deadpool.
Like a sketch of a balloon.
Yeah,
He brings balloons?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know
I'm
that.
just
didn't
kidding,
know
man.
Oh, no, both.
He'll do
No,
it.
I'm
I
thinking
thought you
like.
said-
No, I was kidding
I'm like,
around.
he's selling balloons.
But that's a good idea, right? Can you imagine a bunch of people walking around with
Red
Deadpool
balloons?
balloons?
That'd be awesome.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, but then he'd get
think
mad
it's
at
a
the
good
balloon
idea.
company
It's like, I
because
am
it's
not-
like it's
yeah,
red, and
yeah.
Deadpool was red first, and
And then
you
he'll
know.
get pissed at helium.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Comic fam, thank you so much for watching this video. Slap that like button, hit the subscribe button. We make so much comic book themed content. And also, you're gonna wanna go over to CGC's Instagram page. Yeah, the Certified Guarantee Company, because we hosted their social media for the weekend and we did some behind the scenes stuff. First time I think anyone from the collectors community has ever had a chance to do this. Hit the link in the description. Go follow over on Instagram, CGC's page, and let them know we sent you.
Yeah, you're gonna see a perspective I don't think you've ever seen or anyone has shown before. You gotta check it out.
I have nothing to do with it, but you guys should check out their Instagram, CGC's Instagram page.
That's right. And as always,
3 dudes on a couch, all geeking responsibly. You should too.
Enough said.
yo, comic fam. Oh, we have a giveaway to announce too.
Tim Sheets, you won ASM Annual number 21.
Yeah, the wedding issue. Thanks for commenting on the video.
Congratulations.